Hello and welcome to Flower Juice. My name's John McDonald and today I'm going to really lift your spirits and we're going to create a terrarium or a bottle garden, and this is ideal for the start of a year because we've had the whole winter period and now it's quite nice looking at plants and what we can do with plants. So I've got this beautiful vase, and this is really like a big sweet jar or like a glass carboy, but what's great about this is it has quite a wide mouth. Now if you're going to use little plants and make up planted gardens, you want to have a range of little plants, and actually having good access makes it really easy. So there's two different types of bottle garden that you could have. You could have one where it has an open neck, which is great, or you can have one that's closed. So essentially you can make a sealed garden and that's it forever, in theory. That's a bit harder to get the stuff in, but it's no care afterwards. With this, what you're doing is you're creating a protected environment. So it is going to need a little bit of care, it's going to need a little bit of watering. What you could do is you could make a top and seal it. So that is possible as well. But when you first make your bottle garden, then you're going to have a little bit of maybe too much water in it or not enough. So by having that access, then you can actually kind of keep an eye on it and how you want to adjust it. So what we've got is we've got our container. I've got some lovely little plants. Now this was, you can buy basically like a tray of mixed plants. So we've got like a little polka dot plant, little tradescantia, little croton. This is a little fig. I think this is a little dracaena. I'm not quite sure what that is, but you basically can buy these little plants very easily. So if you go to a garden centre, they'll have a whole range of little ones. What you want to do is have a little bit of knowledge about your plants. So you want to avoid some of the ones that will get really big, but not necessarily that you're going to build this thinking that this is going to live for 3 years. You might just want to have it for a few months and then change it. So that's okay as well. So we've got our plants, we've got some soil, I've got a little bit of moss in case we want to just decorate the edges, and I've also got a little bit of bark. Now the bark I'm just going to use to give us a little bit of drainage in the base. You could use some gravel. If you're going to make something that you want to last long term, then I would put a layer of gravel and I would probably put a little bit of charcoal in as well, and that just keeps the water sweet. So to begin with then, we're just going to pop in our bark. So I quite like to recycle things, and this came off an orchid plant that wasn't very well. It finished flowering and it was never going to recover. So essentially it's worth keeping the bark for, you could use it for decorative purposes. So we can use it here for drainage, or you could keep it and use it maybe on the top of something to finish something off. So now we've got our bark in the base. I'm just going to add some soil. So I'm using a small plant pot just to get that in. So if we're careful and we do this nicely, we can try and keep the glass as clean as possible. But this is really good fun. I love plants, and I think plants are really good for you. They're really good for the soul. So actually, having a play with some plants is really good fun. And finding different containers. So you could make a collection of different containers, and that's good fun as well. So the way we're going to approach this is we're going to basically build up our small plants round the edge is the best way. And because we've got 3 and 3, I'm just going to stick with that kind of triangular way of looking at it. So this soil is just like a general purpose compost. You can get different ones. I would be inclined to say that if you're going to use one that's like a peaty type, that you possibly add some grit or some very fine gravel or something. The benefit of doing that is it's going to help with drainage and just keep that soil open. The problem with this is because there's no movement really, it can get very stagnant. So the soil just compacts itself. So a bit of grit is good for just stopping it being too firm, and a bit of peat for just keeping the moisture is perfect. So you're getting the best of both really. I've even used, well actually I've used this container before for growing cuttings. So if you've got a beautiful plant like say a streptocarpus, you can grow leaf cuttings from this or in a container, and it really gives you a protected environment that you don't need to worry about. So we're adding that one. And we can add our little fig. And the thing about this is you don't really need to wedge them in and pack them in. As long as they're in and they've got space, then that's perfect. And you can also leave some space as well. So don't feel that you have to fill the whole container. So we've got a little bit of space there, we've got some space here. That's good. And what you can do is you could add some decorative gravel, you could add little action figure. You know, you could make this like Star Troopers basically racing around shooting each other. It's up to you. Have fun with it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with making it more natural and just adding a little bit of moss. And you'll find that once this settles down, the moss will spread a little bit and you'll get it moving around. You'll also find like this tradescantia, that will really grow and spread out. So the whole thing's going to evolve and change. And probably at some point you're going to have to make a decision and change things. But it's really just kind of like replace and repair. So, nice and simple. This is really just a flat moss, so nothing fancy. There's no reason why you couldn't just go out and source some little bits of moss from your garden. Just be careful it's not got any little animals or slugs. That would be the only thing. So if it's clean and in good condition, then that's fine. So really, this is all we need to do. What I'm looking at now is the container clean? So the outside's clean, actually the inside's clean as well. What you can do if you've got some soil on the inside is just use a watering can and just take that stream of water down the edge. And that will help clean the glass, put a little bit of moisture into your arrangement. And you'll find that if you've slightly overwatered it, it's going to perspire out of here anyway. So it's as simple as that. We can take a container and create a wonderful miniature garden for you to enjoy. And really, it's minimal care. Once you've done this, you can really sit back and just enjoy it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching today's video. If you'd like to keep up to date with all our new videos that are coming up, then click here to subscribe. And thank you for watching.